I forgot that Muggsy Bogues existed.
I'm crying over you. Goodbye, horses.
Please don't sing that anymore.
The best thing is Bill Murray wearing an umbrella hat.
Hello! Welcome to Just Another Horror Podcast. And it is near dark. You are
Tim.
And I am Tom. Near dark. Lance Henriksen.
Bill Paxton.
What a bunch of
Jeanette
shit.
Goldstein, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah, she's in Terminator 2. Puts a knife through a guy's face. Pretty good.
They're all in,
But they're not the main
Aliens
characters.
together, too.
Yeah, they are.
They're not the main characters. The main characters are Adrian Pasdar, who never did anything else again, and Jenny Wright. I didn't look her up. But Adrian Pasdar was in Top Gun. His name was Chipper.
Oh, he wasn't a cool guy.
No idea who that was.
If he's not good, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So, this is a Western vampire movie. It's a neat concept. But, I mean, they must have just been mashing shit together near the end of the 80s. Just anything they could pull out of their hat. Where does this take place?
Oklahoma, Texas.
I think it's Oklahoma,
Nebraska. Somewhere over there.
Yeah, we'll learn that the distances we
Midwest.
think are between the states really don't exist.
They say that, look at this girl, she's so hot. She looks like a 12-year-old boy.
Mm-hmm.
She is not hot at all.
No.
She's not attractive.
But that's the funny thing about 80s movies. Back then, a 10 in an 80s movie.
Do you think she was even a 10 then?
Probably.
No, she was like a 3.5.
What is she now? 1?
Ooh, bad.
Suffice to say, she didn't look
She didn't
like
look
a
very
woman.
good. No, I was not enjoying looking at her at all. And unfortunately, that's it for women other than Jeanette Goldstein, who is a man. So...
There was a your mom joke in this, too.
Oh, yeah?
What's eating you? Your mom. When
Oh.
Caleb came up to his friend, but when they were trying to get better.
Caleb is the most lame main character I've seen.
You
in a
can't
movie.
feel bad for this guy because he's just trying to rape this girl.
Yeah, he's not...
For the first 15 minutes of the movie.
He's not taking no for an answer. In fact, the girl wants to go home, and he's like, "You gotta kiss me first." And, what? That's not cool.
He takes her and shows him his horse, but he's like, close your eyes, I got a surprise. At this point, I thought his dick was coming out because he's like, "Ugh, it's just my horse.
Yeah, horses evidently don't like vampires.
For whatever reason that is.
Do you ever, like, stop and think about how many fucking things there are with vampires in these fucking movies? Going all the way back. Sun kills them. Water kills them. Ice kills
Water
them.
doesn't kill them.
Yeah, there's one of the Dracula movies.
Running water, they don't like.
Running water kills him. Crosses driving away.
They don't
Garlic.
like.
In this movie, it's random beams of sunlight that selectively choose when to hurt you.
Shotgun won't do it, that's for
Nothing.
sure.
She acts like she's gonna kiss him, and she's like bite him on the neck and just walking away.
Wow, that was some kiss. Yeah, she took
Yeah, he's
flesh off your
bleeding. He's
neck.
bleeding through puncture wounds on his neck. He's like, whoa, that was nice.
Maybe he figured he deserved being punctured, being that he tried to rape the girl, and he's like, I get off light. Well, he wanders towards home. His family's there, and he starts like catching on fire.
Because apparently he's been turned into a bird.
She gives this speech, too, that they're looking at the stars and says, see those lights, they're 1 billion miles away, and whenever they get here, I'll still be here.
This
That's
movie's
it.
so straightforward. It's hard to really get excited or talk about. It's not that it's a bad movie.
Well, it's not good.
It's just really kind of there.
Seen a lot of vampire
A
movies?
blood transfusion, really?
Well, that's
the solution.
That's weak.
That
That
is
is
weak.
But
And then the ending, when they just kind of... They're just driving around in circles. Like, they don't even know where they're supposed to be going. And they're just
there's a lot of smoke in the car.
just like... I don't know. It was terrible. We don't
Have you
need
seen
to-
a lot of vampire movies? It's one of the
I've seen
better
a few.
ones.
But these vampires don't seem like really frightening at any point. Even when they're in the bar, they don't seem frightening. So Lance Henriksen
Unless
shows
you were that
up.
last guy standing there.
Lance Henriksen and Bill Paxton are the reason that this movie doesn't get a 0. Because if this would have been two random fucking people, I wouldn't have watched this. I would have stopped watching it. But then those two show up and everything's okay. I can tolerate it and make it through the rest of it. So Lance Henriksen is Jesse, I don't know what his last name is, the head of a clan of vampires that just drive around the Midwest picking people off.
Yeah.
Burning bars.
You know,
It
and
looked like they just like the party.
That's pretty much what it is.
yeah, they aren't real happy with Caleb being there. They want to kill him, but they're going to allow him to stay because I guess Mae wants him to stay.
She's into him.
But they're like, you have to kill somebody, and, well, spoiler, he doesn't fucking kill anybody.
He's a pussy.
Yeah, he tries to eat some chocolate bars or something, and it doesn't work, and, yeah.
Basically, he eats the other vampire's blood.
Yeah, he sucks it out of Maid's
feeds
arm.
him.
Yeah.
That's what she...
Her arm.
Which is also another new rule you can add on to the millions and millions of varying rules.
Yeah, would vampire blood work?
No.
No.
It also
of course
couldn't
not.
be transfused out using jars, but whatever.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. It's a real stick in my craw.
Or would you get
since it's a
to...
Western,
If you got vampire blood, wouldn't they give you, like, some of their vampire power, though?
He was already a vampire.
Yeah, you're not going to
Weak
get the vampire power from yourself.
No,
It's like just
didn't he
finding-
kick that one dude all the way across the room? Or was that
He uppercutted the guy.
Yeah.
That's later on at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just uppercuts him across the
It's
bar.
like something straight out of Street Fighter. So they all pick their first victims. One's a truck driver. I think they're both truck drivers. No. One's a truck driver, and the other one is the two girls that Bill Paxton sits with. Does he eat them both? I don't remember.
I don't even
It's
remember
either
that.
one of them.
I think it's an off-screen thing.
Oh, good. Off-screen kill.
Off-screen.
Hooray.
But you know they're dead.
It cuts back and forth. They have to find a place to stay because the sun's coming up. They end up staying. Where do they stay? First night.
They're in like a truck
They just stay inside the van.
garage shed
Oh, the shed thing, yeah.
near railroad tracks. I don't know. They never really quite say what it is.
It just cuts back and forth between the family looking for Caleb, and I think Caleb tries to get away at one point. He goes to a train station. There's like a dick cop there, but that leads to nothing. I thought the dick cop was going to follow him around the whole movie. You just don't see him again.
By the way, does anybody else know who that dick cop was?
That was Roger Predactor from
I thought
Ace
so,
Ventura.
But what other cop did he play in another movie?
Halloween. 4 or 5.
That was 5. He was the cop in Halloween 5. I'm so glad somebody else noticed that.
He's a cop in every movie.
I remember you said that. He was being a doofy cop in 5, and he was a doofy cop in Ace Ventura, but
Yeah, and now he's another.
now he's like not a doofy
He's
cop.
a serious cop.
He's all fucking mad.
Of course, he had like a broken hand, which is
Yeah.
weird.
You know, they put a lot of detail into a character that was there for 1 minute
And
it was just
meant
gone.
nothing.
Yeah.
So, can't get on the train, so what the hell?
He
He
doesn't
does
have enough
get on the
money,
train.
but the cop gives him the $3 he needs to get home, and he gets about halfway there, and he starts puking, and you can see like this green funk kind of on the side of his face. He's kind of disgusting looking at this point.
Stays that way pretty much the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and then he has to stumble back to the truck
Garage thing.
garage, whatever it is
So-
they're staying at.
This is when the bar scene happens, right? They're like, alright, we're gonna go eat. They go to the bar, lock everybody in, and just start cutting everybody's throat open, and he doesn't want to do it. He still doesn't want to do it.
Okay,
He
here.
does get in a fight.
Before, I just want to interrupt here. Kansas is the bus station, is where he was, in Kansas,
Okay.
so that'll give us some location.
Well, it takes place between Kansas, Oklahoma,
And
Texas, at one
a little
point.
bit.
Just weaving all over the place.
But it takes 5 minutes to drive anywhere in the movie.
We're at the bar, and Bill Paxton jumps up on the bar and cuts somebody's throat with a
Spur
spur
on his
Yeah.
boot.
I got a new name for you. Mr. Big Knuckle. You having a little trouble with your hog leg there?
And then they cut the waitress's neck open, and there's this poor dude playing pool.
He doesn't.
He just knows his life sucks, and Maid dances with him, and he gets away out the window, and they send Caleb after him. He chases him, and then he lets him go. I don't care to follow this fucking character.
No.
He's boring. He doesn't
At
do
least
anything.
kill somebody
He'd kill
before
a
you
dog or
want to
something
turn
like that.
and be
Yeah.
a good guy again.
This is a weird. This was directed by some lady. I don't know who it was. I've never seen anything.
It was
else
the
by
30 Zero Dark Lady or Zero Dark 30
This
Lady,
is where she
Catherine
started.
Bigelow.
She definitely went much further than I thought she would.
Yeah.
I don't know what story she's trying to tell here. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I guess it's just like maybe more than it's his story. It's like the story of the last days of these vampires like being in existence. So in that case, we should maybe look at Caleb as the main character. You guys don't care.
Yeah.
He's so boring.
He's
though.
terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what he doesn't have a plight. At the beginning of the movie, he tries to rape someone, and by the end of it, he ends up with her, and she's human. What the fuck
Yeah, how
happened?
did that happen in
Blood
88 minutes
transfusion.
or whatever? And why doesn't his dad die? I get it, you don't kill the sister, but the dad should die. Somebody needed to die from that family. It's much too of a happy ending for a vampire movie.
Well, his dad's apparently a surgeon. So.
He's a surgeon. He knows all about vampires, too. Who is he, Van Helsing?
Well, they go to a motel, but the guy that got away because Caleb didn't kill him comes back with the police.
And we haven't even named the other characters because they're that boring.
I don't know who they are. Bill Paxton and others. There's like a little kid that we forgot to mention.
He's Severn. He's Homer, the little boy's Homer.
That's all of them.
And Diamondback is the girl. The other girl. Yeah.
The little kid, he lets on that he's been alive for like ever. Years and years. They've all been like, didn't the one guy say he fought in the Civil War?
Yeah.
Jesse, yeah. How old
The
are you,
main
Jesse?
character.
Yeah, Caleb asked him
And
in
then,
that hit voice. How old are you, Jesse?
Severer, you said the other one's name was?
Severn.
He mentioned about how they started the Chicago fire. It was like a real quick line. But that part was ridiculous because they lit the van on fire. They're shooting their guns into the air. Just, yeah! Woo! What the fuck, man?
They're just rabble-rousers around having a good time.
In the middle of the desert, they're really causing a ruckus.
Is that how
bullets
people
into
act
the
out
air.
in the Midwest?
I don't know. I don't want to live there.
I don't either. That's why I don't travel.
Where were we?
I don't know.
We're
supposed to be cute.
Well, I guess we're at the motel. And
Oh, yeah. There's a shootout.
the creepy little, well, didn't the kid kidnap the chick
Not
first?
yet. First is the shootout. And a bunch of light comes in the room, and nobody gets hurt.
Well, they start to kind of
They
smoke a
start
little
to
bit.
catch on fire, which is a great concept if you continually do it the whole time that light shines on them. But throughout the scene, when light's on them, they're just missing spots of fire. And it's like, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Yep.
Caleb does the only thing worthwhile that he does in this movie. He goes out and backs the vehicle up to the in through the wall of the motel, and they all get out.
In a blanket, we talked about this. A blanket is what kind of
he
protects
ran
them
around with a
from
blanket on.
the sun.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
They smoke, but they
the
don't
blanket
sizzle.
was fully engulfed in fire, meaning the fire had to come through him. So he was more on fire than like it was letting on, but he was fine.
He
No
was a
big
little bit
deal.
smoky.
I guess those were big flames, but
They
whatever.
were big flames.
So they all get out and they're all happy with him now, even though he still hasn't fucking done anything. They're like, yeah, you're with us now, yay. And then they're at another motel, and his sister shows up, and his dad.
And they're looking for him. His sister and his dad are looking for him because he's...
Yeah, and what's the little kid's name again?
Homer.
Homer goes out and tricks the little girl to come in and watch TV with him. And so when Caleb sees him, they're like, oh, hey, so happy to see you, but they want to eat him. So I'm like, fine, eat him. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care at this
Something.
point. Let
Come
something
on.
happen.
But they get away pretty easily, I'd say. It's not much of a struggle. They shoot Jesse. Jesse's obviously not dead. They just kind of leave. And
Yeah, that's it.
Which, I mean, right away you're like, yeah, you really think this is it? Come on. You don't think they're going to come over? You don't think they're going to come looking for you? Something? So, sure enough, they come over.
When he shoots him, he catches the bullet, and then he
His mouth.
really regurgitates it, I
Yeah.
think, or he
I
catches
thought he
it in
shot
his
him in the
mouth.
chest, too. That didn't make any sense. So, yeah, they come back. They steal Caleb's sister after May talks to Caleb and runs off. So Caleb goes looking for them, and we get this ridiculous finale that's too strange for words.
Well, we skipped an important part. Before this happens...
Oh, the blood transfusion.
Oh,
The first
God,
of two.
yeah.
The first of two.
Yeah.
Caleb's dad, who's a farmer, like a horse rancher, sets up like a wooden bench in his barn with some like empty mayonnaise jars and some tubes, and like does a complete blood transfusion for his son. And I don't even know where he gets the other blood.
I'm surprised his
That's
son
never
didn't die right there. You know,
Yeah.
just dirtiness.
So that was just the best. So that's apparently
That's the cure
this.
for vampires.
Yeah, that's this
Blood
movie's
transfusions, that's it.
just a total blood transfusion. That's how it works.
I've literally never seen in any other movie an attempt at a cure, and now I'm kind of glad I haven't. Because if that's what they're going to do, then that's...
completely.
Yeah, but it works twice in this movie.
Without complication. Who would
No
know that everybody had the
problems.
same blood type?
They wake
Exactly.
right up. They wake right up like 10 minutes later, and they're fine. They just get up and go back to doing.
They're like, oh, blood transfusion in the barn.
Okay, so now
I'm pretty sure that's how you get AIDS.
Yeah, you get something nasty.
So now we're at the finale, where, as you described it, it's just them driving around.
It's so goofy.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
I was.
Did we miss Severn getting killed?
Yeah, he's on the truck ripping every piece of the motor out that would make it keep
Caleb goes
going,
into
and
town,
They showed
To go
earlier in
get
the
'em.
movie he learned how to shift a truck, and they're like, we have to put that somewhere, so they just have him driving a truck, and they're like, I remember how to shift from earlier in the movie, and who gives a fuck? He shifts the truck and blows up Severin, and
Which apparently does kill him. Another way you kill a vampire, you can explode them in a truck explosion.
Little pieces. That's the
Little pieces. Didn't they like suck back together though sometimes?
why are people afraid of these things? There's a million ways to kill them. Why are you fucking worried? Literally anything in your kitchen will probably hurt it or scare it away.
I like the idea of scaring it away like it's a raccoon or something. You go, get out of here.
Well,
It's
whenever
"Oh,"
they put
and
the
like
crosses
scurries
in
up the street.
yeah. Whenever they put the crosses in, they all
head
hiss
down.
and then they go away. Yeah. Okay, so then the other two show up with Caleb's sister, and they just drive around.
That's all it is. The last scene of this movie is like so ridiculous. I just can't even like.
Where the hell are they?
They're not going anywhere. They keep just
They're
driving.
out on some.
They're out in the desert. It's
Road.
it's broad daylight. I can't even remember why.
I don't know how they got there to begin with because it's broad daylight.
And they're just
But-
driving around in circles until the sun comes up and they all die. That's the end of it.
They're having a good time.
They're just like you think they're gonna like try to run Caleb over, and then they just go the other way.
They have
and
no
they're-
intentions of doing anything.
They're just like he's just driving up the road. They're not. I don't know. I guess that was it. It's
And
like,
they
we
just sit there in the car and burn and really don't care.
They're just like, oh, this is it. It was so weird. I didn't. I was
It's
so
a really
confused.
shitty ending. And
Homer, I think he actually burned up in the. He jumped out of the car and
He
burned,
burned up on the
maybe,
street. He disappeared into a poof. If
And
you
then
remember.
Jenny jumped out of the car and she didn't burn.
No, she got a blanket thrown over.
Yeah.
Caleb.
She's a vampire still at this point, and she's exposed to the sun for 4 seconds before a blanket goes on her. But she doesn't.
Now, if I
burn.
remember correctly, there are two vehicles and a horse at this place, right? In the sun. And the vehicle is, one of them's blown up, now the other one's blown up. How'd they get back to the ranch on the horse with a blanket and not die? How did she make it? They didn't perform the blood transfusion in the middle of the desert. They got her back. But maybe things happened so quick, people were like, well, what? Oh, okay.
And then Jesse's dad, or not Jesse's dad, Caleb's dad must have taught him how to do the blood
Because he
transfusion,
does it.
Because he does one too.
Does he do it?
Yeah.
He's the one doing it.
He does it to May.
Oh,
And she's...
Fine.
good. Where are they getting all this blood? You know, you have to have like.
Maybe they're switching it out with cow blood?
I don't know if that works.
No. I don't... No, it doesn't work. Don't worry.
And then the ending is the sun coming up. Caleb saying, don't be afraid, it's just the sun. Oh, she's alive.
Oh boy.
Eh.
And that's the end of this piece of shit.
Well, him. What did you give this out of 10?
2.
Oh, jeez.
Here's what sucked about it. The acting, except for maybe 1 or 2 people who were okay. Caleb was awful.
Caleb was terrible. That's why
May
we're getting
was just as bad. Soundtrack made me want to stab myself in the ears with a screwdriver. I hated it. It was
Highly disagree.
synthesized shit for the entire movie.
For those of you who don't know, that is Tangerine Dream. They did.
Don't play
What else
them.
did they
don't
do?
deserve it.
Legend.
Legend with Tim Curry as the devil.
And Tom Cruise. It was one of his first movies.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
All right, so Tim gives it a 2.
Well, I'm not done yet.
He's got a lot of reasons why it has a 2.
Okay, what did I say? I said the acting,
Story not
soundtrack
good.
sucked.
That's why you make a list.
The whole idea of a blood transfusion is so idiotically silly that it just completely removed any credibility that we had. It was gone.
Why not, though?
Why not? Because it's stupid.
It would be okay to try it if it was a doctor.
At least do it in a
or something.
hospital.
Yeah, come on.
We're gonna do it in this guy's barn. Even in a hospital, it's a very dangerous.
Well, you
risky-
know what? If you go to the hospital now, other people know what's going on. Now people know vampires. It's a scare. You don't want to do that. You don't alarm
what's
people.
more believable? Getting a blood transfusion in a hospital or in some fucking redneck's barn?
Can you go into a hospital and say, I need a blood transfusion, and they just do it?
No.
Then you'd have to explain why you need one. And
I would
gonna
just
cause
say
a mess.
that I have leukemia. I don't know.
well,
But
they
give
just
blood
like stick you in a
transfusions.
back room and be like, yeah, we'll get to you. And then
Did you get a
just
blood
won't.
transfusion?
I had a bunch of blood transfusions.
There you go.
But they would test for leukemia first. By the time they were done, you would have burned up from all those little sunspots.
All right. Can we just agree that a blood transfusion is
It wouldn't
retarded?
work.
Okay,
It
thanks.
probably wouldn't work.
It just
but
wouldn't.
It's a.
It's an idea,
It's
but
an
it
idea,
sucks. And
yeah. It was the 80s.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a few other things. I mean,
It's not as good as The Lost Boys.
Bill Paxton was one.
Bill Paxton was cool.
All right,
I love the
Cobra.
bar scene.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 6.8 out of 10 because it had no boobs, and vampire movies should have boobs.
Well,
So
I'm kinda
what
glad
would
we
you
did
have given it had it had tits?
7.14.
7.2. We were close.
Well, I was close.
3.2.
But yeah, it was. There were no dull moments where I was like, "Let's get to the next scene," because it was so straightforward.
Let me ask you a
There was really
question.
nothing going on except for the bar scene and the first hotel scene with the shootout with the cops. Other than that, it was really boring.
Whose boobs would you wanted to see?
Yeah, would you want to see Jeanette Goldstein's?
Yeah, that would have been it. I would have
Two solid loaves of bread.
Well, May had like mosquito bites, so I would at least rather seen a little bit of flesh. 6.8.
Alright. I gave it a 5. It was so painstakingly boring and average.
Why are we giving a movie though that's painstakingly boring?
It's average, but I'm going to tell you why, okay? Lance Henriksen instantly gets 2 points in a movie for me, period.
That's why it's a 2.
Yeah. Well, also, Bill Paxton also gets 2 points in a movie. And I would give it a 1 if those two weren't in it. So 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. There you
All
go.
right, I guess.
That's basic math.
If that's how you want to do it.
I didn't like the acting. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the directing. I didn't like the film. I didn't like the ideas.
Please tell me you didn't like the soundtrack.
I did like the soundtrack.
Oh, God, it was so
I
bad.
liked the moments when Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen were on the screen.
I liked it when he cut that guy's throat with his boot.
Yeah, but the bar scene I thought was going to be the highlight of the movie, and there was no highlight of this movie. There was no
It
point.
was the highlight. Just wasn't.
When
as-
you're
It should have been funnier.
when the climax of the movie is literally nothing.
non-climatic.
Yeah. When the characters escape without struggle, and then they have the final showdown, which includes circling cars going nowhere. It's just not.
The final showdown was like
Whip that shit around!
taking like I can't even describe it. It was like dropping 2 cockroaches into a box and just watching them run around in circles. Like there was
Until one of them caught on fire, and that was the end of that.
It was like there was like nothing. There was nothing to it. It was so dumb. It was like, all right, we're gonna go this way. Then they
It
turn
almost
around.
felt like this movie was half written.
Like,
and
I
they
could just-
filled in the spots. And,
I don't know. It was so
Okay.
bad, and like I could just see the director off screen like back it up. Now go that way. I don't know. It was terrible.
that's why Lance Henriksen looked so bored behind the
He's
car.
just
Like,
like God.
all right, so before we get into horror birthdays, and I think Tim leaves us. Well, he did show up. I'm going to give him props for that one. Next week, we'll be doing the Silent Night, Deadly Nights. Garbage Day.
Garbage day, like
and
over and over again until the one person that might listen to this someday turns it off and we have no listen.
No, the mystery is...
Oh, it's a surprise!
There is a
It's
surprise.
Tune
There is
in,
a-
listeners.
Yeah, there is a mystery surprise that we're going to give ourselves because we've watched so many shitty movies and we can't take one more shitty Christmas movie.
So we're gonna watch.
Don't tell
Oh
them!
shit!
No!
You can
I
edit
ruined
that
it.
out.
We're gonna watch.
The beep.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. Then it's New Year's Evil. And say goodbye to Tim, everybody.